Hey y'all, it's Kim. So here is the JFK Files, part 17. So this will be page 17 from the JFK Files. Just FYI, that's where I'm getting this from. And then I guess this is to director, and then from, I think this is JM Wave. We've seen that several times before. And then that's obviously a cryptonym. November maybe 8th of 63. And then it says, some of this is kind of hard to see. AY Shatter, something like that. And then in something message written 4th of November, postmark 22nd of November, Mexico. And received maybe JM Wave, 27th of November. Amstash One said he's waiting our exfiltration instructions, which he can receive by at 3 or something like that on cipher pad. FP Sam. A1 recommended Juan Batista Gonzalez Francisco, aka El Gallego, long time member, A1 net to receive instructions and money. A1 asked that portion of salary being held in escrow account be converted to 11,400 pesos and sent to Cuba, cover costs of Father I operation and family needs by 15th of December. A1 concluded message stating previous intel reports sent per his instructions through embassy during his absence on the trip. I can't see what this says. On October exfil attempt, Juan Batista Gonzalez Francisco, not the same as Juan Batista, who indicated something a matter team or infiltrated, maybe. I can't see what this says. Who implicated? Okay, implicated, excuse me, a matter team. In this SV letter mailed in Mexico, also received at Wave something at 3 plain text info reports from AMS-1, apparently sent through same embassy channel, although details this channel not something by A1 prior his arrest. Ricardo and Angel believed cutouts, to something Vicente in French embassy. Vicente sends materials to Mexico where mailed and stationed does not intend to send A1's personal funds to him. And this is a secret message. So there's that one. A lot of these are one pagers. Thank goodness, because this is a lot of stuff to read. That says director JM Wave, and then 28th of November 63, priority directory site or director site Wave 8232. And then this is something about tarot. It says follow will be sent. Probably the following will be sent. I think that's what that's supposed to be. FOLL. And begin agent message 1/8 times weekend. Intel sent outstanding X need any additional addresses Mexico, but especially Miami and USXX. Roger Wednesday contacts and still wants sent twice a week to you. So advice or revise second day, an hour starting mid-December. We would prefer Saturday or Sunday skeds. Any advantage, Lucy being reassigned reservation office. If not, have her try to stay something Sawyer's. Have all net members report military preparations made in North Coast the last 5 days and possible landing Chinese troops on North Coast ports. Request you have Gendra Report on possibilities and likelihood anyone putting tap on your circuit to Key West. Enrique end agent message. So I guess this is some type of a cable, but it's like where they have the X's. It's almost like a stop, when you're reading, like a what do you call it? A telegram. Okay, for director only, Lucy is Esther Arango, and Gendra is Juan Gendra. Western Union Cable Formants, something like that. And this is also secret, but now we're reading it. All right, to director from CSAS. This is 3 pages. Now, site wave. Okay, 8064, 8071, 8072, 8074, 8106 or oh 05 here, and 8106 here. 8126. Following is translation of references A through maybe B, P, I don't know. 43, entering directly the place. Theodore is in charge of the vigilance of Carrot One, maybe. That's what it looks like. And then Abel, who is Annibal's man, is in charge of Carrot Two. Director Jimenez, maybe, is in charge of the intelligence for Carrot One. This man Jimenez worked with Concho Villa in here before. And then Apoltes, I don't know, something. It's hard to read. And then these are data on David's man and the direct functions or director function. I don't know. Data on all. Yeah, I can't really see it. Miguel Suarez Hernandez, 30 years old, born in 1933. We do not have the date and month. Son of Mateo and Cepha, maybe? I don't know. Works in the later supply, like of Boca del Balafre. This one was hard to read. And lives on the beach and will work in receptions. This is something. If owner of the something, 14-foot boat with a 6 horsepower motor, who will work in receptions, something born in Boca. Yeah, this is hard to read. It's a fisherman. It continues. Lives in Boca de Calafre or something like that. The name of his boat is La Civitat, maybe. And data on El Vigilante. This man gives his house to locate the radio operator. And Robert Hurtado Caceres, 37 years old, born 19th of September 1926, son of, maybe it's Herminio and Marietta. Lives on the Santa Rosa farm on the highway of San Juan del Galafre, maybe like that, kilometer 9. I will later send the coordinates. Is a taxi driver. Data on El Patricia, the safe house. Esteban Suarez Rojas, 56 years old, um, son of Pablo and Isabella, married and has a child, lives in La Palma farm. It continues. Uh, Something about a farmer. I will later send you the exact location by coordinates. Send set of maps, I don't know, or maps, excuse me, maps on Colibri. Oh, received your message, and then something you should, I don't know, want saw the great dancer. I can't read this last part. It was retrieved cache, Norte 3, Placido, something like that. Actually told this was located. in front of something. This has been found by a miner who delivered all. See, I can't read the rest of this. It looks like it got wet or something. Something about friend's letter. Uh, there, a public demonstration was given in following the trail and finding a man through obstacles such as sugarcane, weeds, and so on. These animals are now in Santiago de las Vegas. Sources of information: owner of farm adjacent to the Toledo sugar factory, Teodoro informed, reported by Antonio on 15th of November, and Aquiles, or something like that. And then something like Carrot 1 and 2 referred to Operation Corral. No wave traces. The subjects uh, reference B and reference C, reference E. Solo refugee in Mexico is Cobra 13 DRP, whatever. That one was hard to read. I couldn't get through all of that. So this is 2 pages. Priority director site wave 8201. Following will be sent. Again, agent message 37 y recibidos. I don't know. Oh, this is Spanish, I think. Oh yeah, this is Spanish. I don't read Spanish. So I'll let y'all figure that one out. Oh, the English translation. Okay, here we go. Received message through 80. Proceed to recruit or este report or something like that. And these are the names: Reyes, Madapa, something like that, Silva, and Roberto. Roberto Lagon. Okay, we're investigating the others. Remember to be extremely cautious in making contact with anyone you have recommended for recruitment, and we have investigated. Because we have checked them does not necessarily mean they are all right to use in your nets. Each report, each agent you use should be fully trained before you give him an optional assignment. With all time agents you are recommending for use, you appear to have a major training job ahead of you. Tell us exactly, report exactly how this training will be accomplished. Something, not only who will train them, but also how, where, when, etc. We're not certain of the Renee or whatever, RENE, you're contacting at Victoria. Please send the name again. What was your past connection? Oh, was Renee. And send me more details on him, including former occupation, school attendance, ed, yeah, school attended, etc. And do not repeat, not expand your nets any further until you have time to consolidate. Okay. This is 2 pages. Let's see. So this is to director JM Wave, priority director site. This is 23rd of November 63. And at the date, I think Kennedy was killed either 22nd or 23rd of 63. Priority director, it's site Wave 8097. Following will be sent. Begin something 17 or good or whatever X or whatever 17 good, something like that. Intel this week. Keep trying with Rig. Keep sending names from Diaz list, Tito, and need a full bio data. Also, all movements of Pablo, Sandoval, Crane, and especially any arms shipments, Latin America, Lucy. She was late reporting chartered flights to Algeria. Need this info faster. Flights should continue through, I guess, December 6th and 3. Try to have her feed you list all Cuban Cubana personnel, maybe, who fly also need her to provide next 4 weeks only CMA list. Cubana crews flying to Mexico, maybe. And then the list published twice monthly. It was about 20 names. My good intel, hope we eventually agrees will work. Do not push him too hard. Maria Christina, what's your evaluation on her now? Data undermining. Franco government, important here. Get more details, no more info. Izquierda, something Izquierdo. What type of info he have other than what appeared to November Revolution on new telex installed. TMA, can you provide additional unpublished data? I want to transmit to you twice weekly. Advise convenient times on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Important, check cafeteria or dead drop and send me whatever message you find. Also leave black box there. Check this drop end of every week for any message. And then something Grace or Bruce, something like that. And then Enrique end agent message for director only. Diaz is Osvaldo Diaz, censor for DSE in Con 2 office. And then Tito is Restituto, something like that. Rabana and Havana Docs. And then Steve Dorr, Lucy, something like that, is something Arango. Mike is Miguel Mayor, and Maria Cristina is postal clerk. And then something Como Izquierda, something cables, and employee who works and reside be judicial. Let's see, or Ducal or something like that. Let's see what this is. Okay, it's not very much. This is 3 pages. To director, JM Wave. This is 27th of November of 63. Let's see, subdata. AM Con 2 received 251245 local, probably a phone number. And then reference bar 1391. Previous mention of tanks with 2 cannon not previously seen. A2 from Eduardo Perez. Repeat, Perez Duane. Protect. RID number index file 262309Z. Report class secret controlled dissemination, no foreign dissemination. Country is Cuba, subject sighting of tanks with 2 or twin cannons in the area of Havana. And then 23rd of November of 63. Let's see, PDA, whatever this is, United States and Miami, 26th of November 63. And then source, an educated Cuban of Western European extraction who lives in Havana. Source was reported military information acquired by personal observation. Source's reliability has not yet been established. This information is from a manager of an agricultural enterprise in Havana. And then Edward Webb, maybe, or Well, I don't know. And then 27th of November, 63, that's secret. Country is Cuba, tanks with twin cannon. And pretty much this is the same. An educated Cuban of Western European extraction who lives in Havana. Source was reportedly military information acquired by personal observation. Let's see. Well, this is on 23rd November 1963, about 2 p.m. maybe. Tanks were observed apparently participating in maneuvers in an area at the intersection of Via Monumental and Carretera Central. Many of the tanks had twin cannon mounted and were a type previously not observed by the eyewitness. Phil Comment, a Cuban who has professional contact with relatives of officials in Cuban government circles and a variety of contacts in Western Cuba, reported that on 23rd of October, the Orenburg brought a number of armored vehicles, which were called Lanza Llamas or flamethrowers, and were a type not previously observed in Cuba. These tanks carried two cannon, which appeared similar to the 152 millimeter artillery piece. And then, as of that same date, there was a large military camp to the west of Via Monumental just before reaching the Carretera Central. Phil comment this is probably the Loma de Tierra military area, which has recently seen a large influx of vehicles and material and field disseminations and synclats and so or something like that. And then whatever else this is. And this is one page, the director from JM Wave. And then these are a bunch of names. Or identity A, Luis. Oh boy. Something Cochia. And then B, Israel Garcia. C, Carlos Diego. D, Manuel Garcia Suarez. And then Suarez. And then E is Juan Sanchez. That's all I got on that one. And then this is 3 pages. Operational source cover sheet. Mexico City. Report made by Dolores Casaretas. Number of pages 1. Report approved by William C. Curtis. Date of report is 1st of December 1960. And references HMM 5321. Headquarters file number 201. And then field file. And this headquarters, blah, blah, blah. And then Jose Xavier Cortez Hernandez. Comments, Father Manuel Perez Alonso, Jesuit and contact of COS, was the source of field comment. Number 2, according to Father Perez, Alonso Cortez was never a priest but had been a seminarian. Father Perez Alonso has been conferring with Archbishop Miguel Dario Miranda. I guess it says primate of Mexico regarding Cortez Hernandez and possible actions against him. And then field information report, Jose Xavier Cortez. The country is Mexico and Cuba. And this is the 16th of December, 1960. A person with a good connection in the Cuban embassy. Appraisal of content. On 8th of December 1960, Jose Xavier Cortez Hernandez, who represents himself as a priest, told Jose Antonio Portuando Baldor, Cuban ambassador to Mexico, that he had information that the thing they were working on had gotten underway and had produced a tremendous reaction in Cuba. He said that a friend who is a Roman Catholic but very liberal had returned from a visit to Cuba, where he said the Knights of Columbus were pretty well entrenched. For this reason, Cortez said he felt it would be necessary to take the bull by the horns and begin things where the Knights of Columbus would gain the advantage. Portuando said that the bombing of the Church of Father Bosa in Cuba had definitely been an act of autoaggression and was clumsily done. He said a red flag with a hammer and a sickle was found in the debris. Portuando told Cortez that Carlos Olivares Undersecretary of Foreign Affairs, had not said anything, but since Portuando, was going to Cuba at the end of December, he believed that Olivares would wait until his visit. Cortez said that he would like to go to Cuba and see for himself how things were going. Field comments, according to an untested source in the Roman Catholic Church, Cortez Hernandez was never a priest. It was previously reported that Atisbo's Mexico City newspaper had reported that Cortez was a Catholic priest and a member of the Jesuit order until 1950, when he left the order because of his rebellious and anarchic spirit. It is believed that Cortez Hernandez, who belongs to a schismatic Catholic church called the Mexican Apostolic Catholic Church, is interested in establishing a schismatic church in Cuba. Source comment: Portuando's remarks about Olivares came after he and Cortez had been discussing German Linz, a castrista priest who has been stopped by Episcopal sanction from his ministry in Oriente province. And then this is more of the same. And then person with good. Okay, it looks like this is the same thing. Yeah, it's the same document. It's just they have it twice on here. Anyway, that's good. That was a lot to read, even though it's just like 3 pages. Okay. 4th of September, 1970, restricted handling, classified message, secret. And then to Athens, eyes only, Plaka, Amman, eyes only, Godnik. And then Cairo, eyes only, Rhinacker, info, Beirut, eyes only, Crowan, and RYBAT for Rybat, MH Chaos, FYN, LN Ergo. Source reported that Organization of Arab Students in U.S. requested Ismail Flory, 201-327-809, CPUSA official in Illinois, to select 5 young Black Americans to go on tour of Middle East, especially Jordan and UAR. Purpose of trip: to propagandize Arab position among blacks in U.S. Group was scheduled to leave Chicago, Illinois on 24th of August 1970 via Olympic Airlines Flight 420, which stopped in Montreal, Canada, before proceeding to Athens, Greece, where flight terminated. No further travel information is available at the present time. Tickets for group had been sent prepaid from Amman, but arrangements being handled in Chicago. Group identified as Thomas Curtis, James Diller, Christine Johnson, comment FYI, probably identified with Mary Christine Claiborne Johnson, 201-328-044, born 15th of January, 1909, Versailles, Kentucky, who in 1963 was president of the African American Heritage Association, which was founded by Flory. Joe Howard, Joe Walker, comment FYI, identified with Joseph Danforth Walker, 201-856-173, born 11th of March 1934, for Buffalo, New York, who in 1969 was writer for Muhammad Speaks, official publication of Nation of Islam, and friend of Henry Winston, 201-006-887, national chairman of CPUSA. Request any info regarding travel above individuals, their contacts, and activities which may come to station's attention. Athens suggests query liaison regarding travelers without giving paragraph 1 background. End of message. One last one for this section. This is 4 pages, but some of it's just like whatever. You don't have to read all of it. March 1st of 1972. Let's see. Contact report with MP Troika, 7. Okay, memorandum for the record, contact report of meetings with MP Troika 7 in New York City on 14th of February and in Virginia on 17th and 18th of February 1972. This memorandum covers recent meetings with MP Troika 7 in New York City and in the Northern Virginia area. The meetings were held under secure conditions and there were no security incidents noted. Operational United States China Friendship Association or the USCFA study group. M7's persistent efforts to locate and join a pro-Mao study group finally paid off. The manager of the China bookstore finally broke down under M7's campaign and put her in touch with the local USCFA study group under the leadership of Mrs. Susan Warren, aka Frank. M7 was attended or has attended one session and based on her initial observation provided the assessment of Mrs. Warren attached hereto. At the undersigned's request, M7 believes that she has hit it off with Miss Warren because of her understanding of dialectics, thanks to Andy Ness's tutoring, and consequently, she was instructed to attempt to develop a social business relationship with her. With respect to the other members of the study group, M7 claims that the situation to date has not been conducive to ferreting out the identities of these individuals, but she hopes that as the group continues to meet, some rapport will be established with their classmates. New School and Language Instruction. M7 is formally enrolled at the graduate facility of the New School for Social Research in a course entitled Comparative Legal Systems, which studies the theories, institutions, concepts, customs, and which purports to analyze and compare the law and the administration of law in selected countries, including China, Japan, Vietnam, Germany, the U.S., and the Soviet Union. M7 will also enroll in a French language instruction course in the near future. The Ramparts Tours, New York Media's workshops, women's tour, acting on a suggestion proposed by Mr. Jason Horn, CISO. The undersigned raised the subject of the women's tour, which is scheduled to visit London, Paris, where they will meet the DRV peace delegation, and Rome from 27th of May to 25th of June, 1972, with M7, and instructed her to attempt to determine the interest in and likely composition of the New York group and explore the possibility of joining such a group such a group. But it just said that twice. Okay, M7's first reaction to the tour was that the cost, $699, which includes airfare, trains, hotels, etc., was too high. It was explained to her that the cost factor should not deter her from following through. It was then that M7 voiced some concern that the timing of the tour may interfere with her own PCS departure. We had been talking in terms of mid-May or June 1972 up to this point. It was made clear to her that no fixed date has been established, and yet for her PCS departure, and that the aforementioned tour may well prove to be of operational interest in you meeting the DRV delegation and continuing the staging process prior to her actual departure. M7 said that she understood and would look into the matter. She did not believe she would have any difficulty in covering for funds should she find herself included on the tour. Southeast Asia reports, or SEER, MS7, M7, excuse me, I'm thinking of something else, produced a copy of the first issue of SEER, a biweekly newsletter put out by the New York University Students Mobilization Committee, Box 59, Loeb Student Center, 566 LaGuardia Place, New York City, 10003. M7 is listed as one of the 5 contributing staff members on the back page of this mimeograph New Left publication. A copy of this first issue is attached here to one of M7's articles. Excuse me. Goodness. Will appear in a subsequent issue of SEER. JB minimum testing and training as part of M7's covert training and assessment in anticipation of her foreign assignment. The undersigned arranged for 2 members of the Psychological Assessment Branch, or TSD, Messrs. DeMarco and Saunders, to administer a JB minimum test to her, to brief her on the use and value of the JB minimum test in a field situation. This training and briefing took place on 18th of February in a safe house in North Arlington, Virginia. Copy of the JB minimum assessment on M7 will be made a matter of record in her official dossier. M7 was introduced as Miss Julie to members of the PAB and TSD for purposes of this testing and briefing. Mr. Andy Ness devoted the afternoon of 18th of February with M7 for the purpose of continuing her training in dialectics, which she has found to be particularly useful in understanding the study group discussion and to permit her participation. Administrative salary and operational advances. The undersigned paid M7 her January salary on a $500 advance on 17th of February 1972. She also received a $300 advance on 14th of February 1972. These advances were necessary because of the expenses M7 had incurred in enrolling at the new school and to pay for her French lessons. One of the reasons M7 was brought down to the Washington area was to straighten out a problem she was having with her accounting. Hopefully, she is now convinced that she had been receiving all that was due her. Tax administration notification of personnel action. M7 was notified of the change in the tax assessment and of the adjustments in her salary due to this legislative pay increase and the withholding of premiums for hospitalization. Actions to be taken. M7's assignment abroad. Per the undersigned's discussion with Messrs. Flitcroft and Cornish, a telepouch dispatch will be sent to Bangkok Station proposing M7's assignment to Bangkok primarily for housekeeping purposes, but with the regional mission to perform. The undersigned is presently working on this message. And then concealment device. I think they misspelled that. Yeah, they did. M7 requested a concealment device for her microdot viewer, which the undersigned will attempt to obtain from TSD. Additionally, the undersigned will request TSD to provide concealment devices for M7's general use as a storage for papers and funds. And this is William E. Gavigan. And then whatever FE Ops. Attachments as stated. Okay, that's not on there, but whatever. So that is part 17 of the JFK files. So anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Hopefully you're getting value out of it. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe. Talk to y'all later. Bye.